If you remember levitating random muggles, destroying Snape's classroom, and vandalizing Hogwarts, then you played LEGO Harry Potter. But which one? Because there were 5 completely different versions released across 13 different platforms, and in this video series we're going to compare each of them. Now most of these games are comprised of 4 movies each, so I'm going to dedicate a video to each movie, and this time around we're looking at the Philosopher's Stone. Let's start with the console version of LEGO Harry Potter years 1 to 4. The game begins at Privet Drive. Uncle Vernon, who's somehow the same size as Harry, is trying to stop him from getting his letter. Now this was still back when LEGO characters didn't talk in games, so there's a lot of pantomime going on. I've just realized I've never seen LEGO characters eat, and I've also realized that there's a good reason for that. Also, skinny Uncle Vernon kind of looks like an angry Freddie Mercury. Alright, so the Dursleys try to escape the letters, Hagrid arrives, and then we begin the game at Diagon Alley. Fun fact, this is the only playable version of Hagrid in any Harry Potter game. Hagrid, you want to put down that random lady? Unfortunately, someone just decided to fly tip right in the middle of Diagon Alley. Are we going to use a charm to clean it up? Hell no, we're going to brew a potion to blow it up. Good to see violence is still alive and well in these old LEGO games. Alright, so we get into Gringotts, and poor Harry really is useless in this early section. The best he can do is a tactical role. This is very much a classic LEGO game. Most of the gameplay has you doing simple puzzles, traversing obstacles, and finding a ton of Easter eggs. The rest of the level has Harry acquiring his supplies, and then we're off to platform 9 3/4, which is filled with clones. Harry arrives at Hogwarts where all the new students get sorted. Look at Quill just scheming. And so we can start exploring Hogwarts. Now this isn't strictly an open world kind of game. Each movie is still divided into 6 main sections, but each section will allow you to run around the castle between the actual story bits. And the developers did a great job packing the castle with all sorts of Easter eggs. The common room alone has wizard chess, enchanted paintings, and killer furniture. Poor kid eaten by a sofa and turned into a cube on his first day. Should have gone to Durmstrang. Harry is also kind of a dick in this one. He's jinxing innocent students, vandalizing, and trying to strip old men in paintings. Eventually, he does decide to learn some spells at Professor, why is Ned Flanders teaching charms? Now, unfortunately for Harry, he can't bully the teachers as they end up jinxing him back. As you progress through the game, you build an arsenal of spells from the movies that you can use to traverse through the levels. The first being Wingardium Leviosa, aka the Force from the Star Wars games. Hey, remember that time the troll smashed the toilet to reveal a complex puzzle? Or when Ron had to wear a wig to get into the girls' bathroom? Or that time Hermione took a dump so bad McGonagall had to use a spell to make it go away? Was that like a cut chapter from the book? Okay, so we fight the troll while this random girl's just hanging out in the toilet. Next up is Snape's class, where the potions master teaches the students a valuable lesson. Every job is easier after a beer. And look, Snape's already locked on, ready to jinx Harry at any moment. Look, I can't help that my dad was an absolute Chad and my mum decided to choose him over you. Maybe you should have— shit. The lesson ends with Harry learning to brew the steroid potion. One of the bonus collectibles spread around Hogwarts are the students in peril, who manage to get themselves in the most bizarre locations. Now, the Hogwarts castle has changed quite a bit throughout the movies, and for consistency's sake, this game uses the castle from the later movies. It also borrows the nearly headless Nick guide from the Half-Blood Prince game, which actually came out around the same time as this one. Although this version of the ghost leaves trails of studs everywhere he goes. You should probably see Madame Pomfrey about that one, Nick. Now, Harry can also use Deadeye from the Red Dead games to lock onto his target. Finally time for a flying lesson. Only Harry can fly well in a broom. Oh, come on, I'm sure that's not— oh wow, they weren't kidding. What's this white stuff we're cleaning up? Unfortunately, there's no actual Quidditch in this game. Instead, you play as Ron and Hermione as they try to rescue Harry. Oh, seriously? Come on, give it a rest. Excuse me, painting, do you mind killing this generic Slytherin? Thanks. Oh, no, not the block. Well, what do we do now? Sorry, Harry, we tried. Christmas, that time of the year where all students have to shave their hair and put on Santa hats. Harry receives the invisibility cloak and uses it to sneak into the restricted section. Well, what about Ron? He doesn't have a cloak. Oh, well, look, Mrs. Norris doesn't really seem to mind. Do cats not see gingers? The goal here is to sneak past Filch. Luckily, being spotted by him won't send you all the way back to the start, unlike in the old game. This time he'll just grab Harry and shake him within an inch of his life.
You can act like a man!
Alright, so they find the mirror and the next day they're off to see Hagrid. I love the way they try to convey story points without dialogue in these early games. Look, the unicorn is sick because someone's been drinking its blood. Get it? The next level has the crew go to rescue Harry in the Forbidden Forest. We play as Ron, Hermione, Hagrid, and even Fang. Now Hagrid's pink umbrella has been upgraded to a full-on crossbow. Hold on, are these the same bees that bit Ron in the Goblet of Fire game?
It got me with its stingers!
Also, why does Hermione swim backwards? Is it because she's a muggle? Anyway, after traversing some more Lego puzzles, the crew reach Harry and see him get rescued by Firenze and his Final Fantasy haircut. The final level starts with the trio following Quirrell. They run into Fluffy where Ron decides to try a fat jazz solo. But it doesn't work and instead Harry has to build a harp. I must say I do miss the flute from the first game. So we then get past the Devil's Snare and onto the Flying Key. Hermione, you know what to do. The chess section just involves getting pieces to beat each other up, and then we're on to the final battle. Now, there have been a lot of Quirrell battles in Harry Potter games. Some use the mirror, others have him shoot Force Lightning at Harry. This one doesn't really bother with any of that. You just reflect his spells back at him and then squeeze his face. The game ends just as we all remember. Dumbledore with a ninja, the trio eating beans from a crate, and Dumbledore farting. Alright, let's move on to the handheld versions released for the PSP and DS. These are very similar apart from the DS using the touchscreen for spells and the PSP having a higher resolution and better graphics. Now this version uses the console cutscenes, but it actually starts earlier at the Dursleys, with Harry having to find Dudley's presents for his birthday. And look, you can actually play as Dudley. You don't have your party following you around this time, instead you just morph into them. The game is fully 3D but has this locked isometric perspective. Instead of 6 big sections, it's split into about a dozen smaller levels. This version shares a lot of spells with the console version, but now they're performed via these quick button combo minigames. Okay, so we're off to the Leaky Cauldron where Harry does some meet and greets. Now the characters actually have dialogue through text boxes in this version, and I think this was a first for LEGO games, and now that the characters can talk, they can start bossing Harry around. A lot of the levels just involve Harry doing chores for the NPCs, like this King's Cross level where Harry has to run around solving everyone's problems. And this continues at Hogwarts. Hi Harry, I'm Percy. Why don't you introduce yourself to the other Gryffindors? Why don't you fuck off? A nice feature that's exclusive to this version is a number of different jinxes you can unlock through the game that you can use to torture other students. There's the Big Head Jinx, Petrificus Totalis, and the Dancing Curse. You can even jinx the teachers and they won't attack you this time. Alright, let's do some classes. First, Transfiguration. Let's turn this grand piano into a 94 Corolla. Ah, shit. I wonder how many house points this is going to cost me. You can fly in this version, just not up or down. And there's no Quidditch this time either. And Filch catching you this time does reset the level. But Harry is also a bit of a dick in this version too. On Christmas Day he opens his present and then destroys all the other children's presents. And also the Christmas tree for good measure. When it comes to the final trials, this version has you running away from Fluffy similar to the troll chase in the PS1 game. The chess section is once again not chess, and the Quirrell fight is the most random of all. You lure him over these fire pits and then crush him with the metal covers, while Hermione shouts tips at you, just like the movie. And so that's it for the handheld version. But before we end, I also wanted to cover LEGO Dimensions. For those that don't know, this was LEGO's big crossover Toys to Live game from 2015, and while this wasn't specifically a LEGO Harry Potter game, it did have a LEGO Harry Potter world as part of its DLC, which was made up of the most iconic and memorable elements from all 8 movies. The biggest part of this world is definitely Hogwarts Castle, and apart from being a little scaled down, it's actually a really good version of the castle. Most of the elements you'd expect are there. It even has students and a couple of teachers running around the grounds.
Ah, yes. You look the capable sort.
Professor, it's me, Harry. You dropped me off as a baby. I'm not sure if that's Snape or Kylo Ren. Unfortunately, the castle lacks an interior. The only real section you can enter is the Great Hall. Harry can also fly his broom all around the open world section. And while it doesn't have Quidditch, there is a mini-game where you can race through rings. Because after all, is it even a Harry Potter game if you're not flying a broom through rings? Now, I'll be covering the other elements of the Harry Potter world in LEGO Dimensions in future videos of this series. And so there we have it, every version of LEGO Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Please let me know which of these is your favorite in the comments, and stay tuned for the next part where we cover the Chamber of Secrets. As always, thanks for watching. Please consider supporting me on Patreon, and a big thanks to all of my existing patrons. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.